All right, so recently I've been really interested in Sandbox and mapping and modeling and all sorts of stuff like that. And I saw a video recently that showcased somebody using images to generate 3D models.
You should know. Part 666. Did you know if you go to this website, it can turn any image into a perfect 3D model instantly? Upload your image. So I'm going to do this one, then hit Gen Shape. There we go.
This is the actual website that they were using. All right, so it took about 15 seconds, and this is the output that we get from the Hugging Face, um, Hunyan 3D modeling by Tencent. So the issue that I have with this specific image to 3D modeling application is that you can't download this stuff. You can't download it at all. So I set out to find a free version of an image to 3D model generator, and this is a look at Meshi. So we have that same barrel here generated, and we actually generated this with Meshi 6, which is a paid service on here. So they give us 100 credits to start with, and when you generate, it costs 20 credits to generate something here. So there's a few different generations. You can actually download Meshi 6 generations with the free version. But if you switch over to Meshi 4, then you get something like this from that same barrel image. It's not really the best. We can't use this. It's obviously the Meshi 6 is way better. And then even when we go into downloading this, I mean, we don't want to download this. So that's not good either. The second one was this Hexagen, and this is the same barrel image. This is what it created. We have that same issue where we're just not able to download this for free. And the last one being this Fast 3D. This was the best one by far that was free to download the actual generated meshes. And this was one that I previously did of a statue, and it actually lets you download them. So I got a little curious and wanted to play with this a little bit further and see if I could actually get something generated from those image to 3D generators into Sandbox, and I was able to. And this is the result. So that 3D model that you saw in Fast, whatever it was called, Fast 3D IO, this is that mesh that it generated, and it was imported into Sandbox. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. There's a few things on there where you can actually tell how many triangles are on here. Like there's a bunch of polygons on here, and they're very visible, and that might have just been because one of the steps I skipped in Blender for smoothing. But yeah, as you can see, it looks pretty good. So we're going to actually go into how I was actually able to get this image and generate it into a mesh and put it into Sandbox. So starting out with the prompt, I just took a screenshot from Google Maps of a statue that I found in Austria, I believe, and I had Grok give me a description of the image, and this description is really useful by Grok to sort of get some key elements in here, like painted bronze equestrian statue of a historical figure. So there's stuff in here that we can use to prompt Grok Imagine to give us an image like this that's really clean, and it's a lot better than using the screenshot that was uploaded to Fast3D to actually make this image. Because when we screenshotted it off of Google, it's going to be really low quality, and it looks something like this. So we have that image here. It's really small, and we're not going to be able to pick out a lot of detail from this. So we're actually just going to make that with Grok Imagine using a prompt. So here's the prompt that I made, and I'll go over how to get a prompt like this, where we kind of pick out parts from the described image that Grok sees and use that to generate an image like this. So the first thing that I did, I actually just went over to my Steam inventory, and these images are usually really clean in your inventory of the different items that you can have in game. So I just took this crate here, and we're gonna screenshot this right here and use that whole thing. We're gonna go back to Grok, and we're just gonna say paste that in there and say describe this image. Okay, so as you can see, it described the image here of the item in the CS inventory, and we're just using this description to get a better prompt so that we can tell Grok to imagine something that we can actually use that's high quality. So this is an item screenshot from Steam platform displaying the details of an in-game item from Counter-Strike 2. At the top, there's a 3D render model of a black shipping container like a storage unit with orange accents secured by straps and a padlock featuring a CS logo. So there's something in here, 3D rendered model that I like, and we're going to grab that, and we're just going to add that over to our prompt building here that we're doing in Notepad. Let's see what else we can grab. So we have below the model, the item is titled storage unit with a small blue icon resembling a key or a tool. It is categorized as a Counter-Strike 2 base grade tool. The description text reads, the storage unit allows you to store up to 1,000 of your surplus items. Okay, so this is, I don't think there's anything in here that we're going to use. Let's see, there's a blue button labeled inspect, tags. Okay, the overall background is dark gray, typical of Steam's interface. All right, so we didn't get much from that. But the last time that I did this, I was actually able to grab some more descriptive elements like inventory item, realistic, high quality item model look, a realistic 3D model. So we're just actually going to take this and we're just going to put it down here. So you can play around with getting descriptions from whatever AI model that you want to use and get your key items here that's going to help you really describe the image that you're looking for. Next, we're going to go on to Google Maps because we just want to do this statue that's up in the corner here. And we're going to grab that by doing Windows Shift S. And we'll just kind of take a screenshot of that. And then we're going to go back into Grok and we're just going to ask it, what do you see? So we'll paste that in there using Control V and then go describe the image. All right, so it took about 30 seconds to describe the image here, the one that we grabbed. There you can see it's really small, not really useful for putting into our fast 3D application. So we'll go back to this and see what it says. The image shows a close-up of a painted bronze statue depicting a winged figure. So I really do like this. Close-up, painted bronze statue. So I think we'll just go painted bronze statue depicting a winged figure. And then we'll take that and we'll throw it into our prompt that we're building here. So painted bronze statue, we'll separate that. And then, so we'll take winged figure and we'll use that as well. Likely an angel or a representation of victory, such as Nike. Interesting. I don't know what that's referring to. In a dynamic and triumphant pose. All right. So I do like angel. I think I like angel here. So we'll grab that, add it to our prompt. And then let's see. Dynamic and triumphant pose. I think I like that too. We'll try it out. Throw that into our prompt. All right, the figure has large flowing wings. I like that. Extended backwards with one arm raised highest towards the sky. We'll take that too. Okay, holding a torch. Do we want that? We'll take that. Grab that. Okay. Now, while the other arm is positioned lower across the body. Their arm positioned lower across the body. Yeah, we'll take that too. We're adding a lot more to this, but I think the more we get in there, it's not going to really, it's just going to make it a little bit better. The reason why I'm teaching you how to prompt is because the more specific you get with your prompt, the better your result is going to be. So if you're imagining something and you're trying to describe this to Grok, you don't really know what words and what terms to use. But if I were to try to imagine something like this up here, I would have no idea where to start on how to describe this, at least well enough so that Grok could actually imagine this. I'm just going to take all of this here, and we're just going to copy that. And this is a bunch of descriptions just separated by commas. It's not really like telling it like, hey, this is what I see, but it'll be able to figure it out. So we'll go into the imagine, And we'll just do a new imagine here. And we'll just type in our prompt. See what it makes. All right, there we go. So these are pretty good. These are pretty good. If we go back to what we see here, and we kind of have it where the wings are going upwards, knee forwards, arm up. We'll look for that, something like that. I think I like this one. It doesn't show the full body. So we'll go back and look at this. So the statue's mounted on the edge of a stone. I don't know what that says. So we'll just go mounted on the edge of a stone balustrade, architectural ledge. We'll add that to our prompt as well. And we're actually going to get out of that imagine that we just did. And then we'll go and we'll do a completely new one. Because sometimes it'll refer to like previous prompts if you're working within the same prompt and you want a different style. Okay, here we go. So we got a couple good ones here. We're looking for something that's just full body, where we can see that ledge that it's standing onto. This is nice. I like this. I think we might be able to work with this. Yeah. Yeah. That's close. Very close. Okay, so I had to mess around with the prompt a little bit, and this just kind of shows you the importance of having a good prompt. Now, we have some images here where the background is actually pretty plain, so we could tell that this is just a statue. This looks like if we framed it out, it could be an item, you know, similar to something in what this looks like, where there's no background. It's just the item in question. So now that we have our prompt done, I'll just show you what I did for this one. And I took the original prompt that we had up here for the horse guy, and we just removed horse and equestrian, which relates to horses, and just put in winged figure, angel, and then triumphant pose. And actually, the less that we had in our prompt, the better this turned out. So all of this didn't really give us what we wanted, so that's why I'm kind of showing you the importance of going through your prompt and using Grok to kind of show you descriptors that could help you get what you want. All right, so I think we're actually going to use this image. I like this one the best out of all of the ones that it had on there, just because of the statue form here at the bottom, the base, and then we have the legs here. I think that when we go into our 3D image generation, it's going to be able to do all of this really well. All right, so now that we have our image, we're going to go into Fast 3D IO. You can see the website up here, and I'll put a link in the description as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to switch this to image to 3D, and then we're going to go down here. And we're going to skip texturing. We're going to keep it on standard because we only have 890 credits here. And if we put on texturing, this costs 150 to do. And then if we switch it to fast, you can see it only costs 20 to do, but we want a pretty detailed mesh here because I'm confident that it'll be able to do it. So we'll go standard, and then we're going to upload our image. Here's our image that we grabbed. And then we're going to go and generate. All right, so that only took like maybe 30 seconds to generate. When it's done, you get this image, you get this view here. You can go down and hit view 3D model. And we get a little reference image here. And then we also have our model here, which it's spinning. We can just say stop. We don't want it to spin anymore. And we can kind of spin it ourselves by just clicking this and grabbing it and moving it around. So you can see it got a lot of the geometry right. Even on the back of the image, where we didn't actually have the back of our image in the reference, it just kind of came up with what it thinks it's back here. And as you can see, it did a really good job with the hair. Did a really good job with the, like the dress coming down and like, still keeping the continuity with the way that it's flowing. And then also the foot here and the legs turned out pretty good as well as the base of the statue. And also the wings are pretty impressive too. Pretty much like a flip of what we see on the inside, which we do have in our reference. So it did a pretty good job with that. Not so much of a great job here. That looks a little bit too smoothed out. It doesn't really look like feathers anymore. But that's fine. It's just a statue. We got the face pretty good. Hair, neck. the hands and the chest and the dress draped across the chest there. So that's pretty good. We can use this. So like I said, this version of your image to 3D generator, you can actually just hit download, and this downloads as a GLB file. So we're gonna do that. So you're gonna need Blender for this as an intermediary step in between getting your image from whatever you're getting your image from to your generator to your mesh to Sandbox. So this is one of the steps that we're gonna have to do. And then we're gonna go File. We're gonna go Import, and we're gonna import this GLB down here. It's gonna take us to our folder Explorer, and in our downloads we have that statue angel saved as a GLB file. We're gonna do import. So as you can see, we have our 3D model imported into our 3D modeling software, and it looks pretty good. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go File, and then we're going to go Export. Oh, you know what? There is something I wanted to try. So we're going to right click this actually. Then we're going to go to Shade Smooth. We're going to see if that makes a difference with some of the hard edges that we have on this statue, and maybe make it a little bit more smooth. We're going to try that out. So in here, we're going to go Export, and then we're going to export to FBX. And then we are going to give this a name. Now, some of these settings are actually really important here for doing your export. And you want to make sure that you have your path mode on copy. And then you select this little box here. You just make that blue. And then your batch mode, that can be off. You want to go down here to just make sure everything looks the same here. But some of the important things, make sure you check custom properties. You also want your scale to be 1. I think it's there by default. Your apply scalings, you want to make sure that's FBX all. Forward is going to be X forward. Up is going to be Z up. And then these two are checked. They're just checked automatically. I don't think there's anything else, but I'll open these up so you could see it just in case you want to make sure everything is the exact same way that I have it here. So there you go. Make sure you copy those in there. And we're just going to hit Export FBX. So once we have that exported, we're actually going to go straight into Sandbox, and you can just go into any project that you're working on. What we're going to do is go to Local, and then we're going to look at some of these files down here in order to get our statue into Sandbox. So what you want to look for is your assets folder, and you're going to go into your assets folder, and I have a couple things here that I've made. You can make folders in here, whatever, it doesn't matter, but we're just going to right click in this space, make sure it's under your project, and we're going to go show and explore. What this does is it gives us the folder where we can access our project and drag and drop files in there. So we're actually going to take that downloaded FBX file from Blender that we exported, and we're just going to drag that into our assets folder for Sandbox, just like that. Once we do that, you can see in here that we have our bronze angel statue FBX there, and then you get a little preview over here of what it looks like. So we're going to go and right click this and create model. Then it's going to give you this window here, put a name on it. And I'm just going to change this from Blender to S&box so we can tell. But it is going to change the file type to a VMDL, whatever that is. Just save it. Okay, once we have our bronze angel statue VMDL in here, we can, I think we can just drag this straight in, just like that. We're going to go and we're going to check it out. It's really tiny. We didn't get our scaling right in Blender, but that's okay. We can go into Sandbox and we go press O for object mode, select it, press R for resize, and then we can just scale this to whatever we need it to. So yeah, this is now actually in our world, and we're just gonna mess around with the materials on this just for fun. Green metal rust. There we go, that one wants to work. So that's exactly what we have on this guy, the green metal rust. We're gonna hit save. We're gonna go in, check it out. Wow, look at that. So this is what we came from. Kind of crazy. we came from this image that we got from Google Maps, and we went in to our AI and had it give us a prompt. So we worked on our prompt to imagine this simplistic statue image to get exactly what we wanted. From there, into Fast 3D, from there, into Blender, and from Blender, into Sandbox. And yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to go from something that we found on Google Maps and just put it into our game. I mean, the geometry on this is really good. I would never be able to do this in Blender, at least not with the knowledge that I have now. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of crazy that you can actually do this with some of the AI stuff that is available nowadays. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. So just to clarify, I actually didn't make this horse in Blender or anything. That's an asset from the cloud browser here on Sandbox, done by Smallbox Studio. So we took that from there just to kind of compare the quality difference between what we're doing and what people are actually uploading and using for models in their games. This one is obviously textured, and the model's a little bit nicer, and it has materials on it. We didn't do any materials. Materials is well beyond me right now. Just kind of wanted to showcase what you can do with 3D model generation using some cool AI tools.